they took our chance for improving and also for educating, for following our lessons.
हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम बैक टू अनदर वीडियो. नमस्ते जी, कैसे आप सब? एंड इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो वी विल गोना टॉक अबाउट द पुअर लिविंग कंडीशंस ऑफ women in Afghanistan.
Taliban forbids girls from going to school and women from working or even traveling outside of their home alone.
United Nations in 2023 had designated Afghanistan as the most repressive country in the entire world for women to live in. Well, women in Afghanistan have been kept away from education. The basic rights have been taken from them, and they are leading a life where they do not have the basic amenities, basic facilities provided to them. So welcome back, and let's get started with this one. Women's rights in Afghanistan are severely restricted. In 2023, the United Nations had termed Afghanistan as the world's most repressive country for women to live in. Since the withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan in 2021, the Taliban gradually imposed restrictions on women's freedom of movement, education, and employment. Women are banned from studying in secondary schools and universities, which makes Afghanistan the only country in the world, the only country in the entire world to prohibit females from studying beyond 6th grade.
So let's get into that issue of girls and school. In almost all provinces, schools are shut for girls from grades 7 to 12. Around 850,000 teenage girls have missed out on formal education since the Taliban took over.
Women are not allowed in parks, gyms, or beauty salons. They are forbidden from going outside for a walk or exercise. They are also not allowed to speak or show any part of their face or body outside the home. And they are also now banned from singing or reading, even from their own homes.
حداقل مشوره شما از کدام بانوی مومن امروز زیادتر متضرر میدونین در اجتماع افغانستان کیها است؟ بانوها هستند.
Women are now facing harsh punishments. They are being flogged and they are also being stoned to death for adultery. There has been an increase in the number of suicides among women, and sexual crimes targeted at women are at peak after the takeover of Taliban in 2021. Many Afghani women have now left the country to places such as Iran to pursue further education and seek employment.
This further pushes women into more isolation.
If we talk about general fact of Afghanistan, then it has a population of around 3.5 crores, and out of it almost 1.5 crore are women. But now women are not allowed to study. They are not allowed to educate themselves beyond 6th class. They are married soon, and many live as housewives for the remainder of their lives. Well, but if we talk about the history of Afghanistan, then things were actually very bright and very different for women. In the history of Afghanistan, if we talk about the decades of 1940s and 1950s, then women were becoming doctors, they were becoming nurses, they were becoming teachers and civil servants. In fact, the first women minister was in the health department. She was elected to parliament along with 3 other women. Women were employed in airlines. They were given jobs in private institutions. In fact, in 1964, women were also allowed to enter into politics and were also given the right to vote. That was the time. That was the era when women of Afghanistan had the right to educate themselves, and they also had the right to work. They were given the possibility of joining the political parties, and they also had the opportunity to become representatives of people in parliament. Past kings and presidents, they had allowed both men and women of Afghanistan the rights to choose their spouses. They could marry at their own wish. Women were chosen in the fields of judiciary, academics, police, and armed forces. But now things have become very different for women. Come 2021, US withdrew itself from the country, and since then the Taliban has made sure that women effectively come under house arrest. They are not allowed to leave their homes without a male companion. They are also not allowed to wear any perfume, and they are also not allowed to get any sort of employment whatsoever. And now things are becoming so dark for women that they are either forced to sell everything they own, or they are forced to beg just to survive.
My goals, I cannot achieve that goal, so I'm out of motivation right now. I feel I miss something very important, especially the books, which are my best friends.
The amount of information coming from Afghanistan shows that the Taliban misrepresents the teaching of Islam. Most of the Talibanis, they are not aware and they do not understand the actual value of a woman. They have been supporting the government where terror exists. The Taliban government has not also been recognized internationally since its formation in 2021, and despite repeated assurances by the Taliban that women's rights will be protected, the reality is that the actions of the government indicate something else. Taliban had not created favorable conditions for women in 2001, and after 20 years, after 2 decades, things have actually not changed. In fact, things have become much more worse. The new Taliban government does not include any women as either ministers or deputy ministers. In fact, interesting part is that the Ministry of Women Affairs has been abolished completely, and any protests by Afghani women have been met by brutal violence from the Taliban forces. For past few years, the United Nations has also been severely criticizing the condition of Afghanistan, the living conditions of women in Afghanistan, and the way Taliban government is treating its citizens. But now we all know that how less effective the United Nations has become in past few years. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.